Good evening, everybody. My name is Seth Askelson alongside Jesse Vineyard. We're here for the first intermission report live from Oceanside Ice Arena. And Jesse, that was a really rough first period.
Yeah, it did not go well for GCU. ASU, they were, for lack of a better term, just kind of skating circles around GCU. They were, again, quicker to the puck. They were the one throwing the body around. GCU wasn't. For the most part, GCU was at quite a few times on the ice instead of on their skate because ASU was the one putting GCU on the ice. And ASU, they were able to capitalize on a couple of bad rushes, defensive rushes up the ice by GCU. And it's ASU right now with a 2-0 lead going into the second period.
Yeah, and for GCU, you saw a lot of those frustrations boil over. Those of you who are joining us over from the game broadcast that is over on the ASU ACHA Division I channel, I think for GCU, it's about, we talked about not letting those frustrations boil over, and we're really seeing it here. I mean, Maralda takes that penalty over at the ASU blue line, and eventually he gets Palumbo to take one as well on his way to the box. But you're just starting to see the frustration, the yelling from the bench. We saw some of the assistant coaches' frustrations kind of boil over just below us, and it's starting to turn into frustration, and that's not good, especially when there's 40 minutes left.
Yeah, last night we saw a lot of fight and a very quick start by GCU, and that really translated for the rest of the game, and especially what we saw in the third period last night with the Lopes staging that late comeback. In this one, it's a completely different story. They just look slow, and they're not catching up to ASU. There's not a whole lot of fight, just not a whole lot of spark. They need a spark in the second period. They need something big to happen because they just look a little bit too passive right now. ASU, they're taking advantage of all the mistakes by GCU, and there were quite a few of them in the first period. It's quite a few things are going to have to turn around for the Lopes in the middle period.
Yeah, it's going to have to really be a big turnaround, like you said. I mean, it's so hard when you're on the road. You know, you're coming back. It was a real physical game yesterday we talked about, so I know a lot of the guys who did dress for both games yesterday and tonight have got to be a little bit sore, but I know they want to come out, they want to win this game, and I think a part of it as well is ASU's ACHA team, they were probably really upset the way that game finished last night, right? I mean, even though they did win, they did end up putting in an empty netter 4-2. They just were really displeased with, they had to be with the way that game finished. They let GCU back into the game, and I think right now they're just trying to crush the spirits of the Lopes.
Yeah, ASU, they have a very rich history of success, so they expect a lot out of themselves, especially the coaching staff, where they teach a very physical, fast game, and that's what they're playing right now. And like you said, last night they were probably a little bit frustrated, a little bit disappointed by the way that they played. Even though they did come out with a win, they feel like that they probably could have made that game a much bigger difference in victory for the Sun Devils. In this one, they're seeing a much different story. They're just playing a lot better than the Lopes right now, and of course it's showing on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and so about 10 minutes left to go in the intermission period here, and Jesse, thank you for joining us here on this intermission report. We're going to take a quick break, hoping to come back with the GCU player Cameron Wojnicki on the other side of this commercial. Welcome back here to Oceanside Ice Arena and the GCU Ice Hockey YouTube channel. My name is Seth Askelson alongside GCU forward Cameron Wojnicki. And Cam, very rough first period for the Lopes. What needs to turn around for them in the next 40 minutes?
I think it's pretty simple. I think we're a little excited right now. We just need to take a deep breath, make sure we run our systems. We all know what we have to do, and I think if we do that, we'll just be fine.
The second period has kind of been bothersome for the program. I mean, just kind of over the history. Last night we even saw it, a couple goals to push that lead to 3-0 to ASU. Right now this second period is so important to not let ASU capture that momentum and pull farther away. How does your team and your teammates kind of make sure to stop it right here?
I think the biggest thing is you just got to make sure that you stay calm and you don't get too crazy in the locker room, and you just got to come out knowing what you got to do, and you just got to execute the little things. You got to be first to pucks, get pucks deep and get them on net, and things should work themselves out from there.
You played in the game last night, and you obviously played in the 2 games last year against this Division I team. What did you see that was a little different from last year to this year?
A little different from last year is this. I believe that this team is a little bit stronger than last year, but I don't think that that's any excuse for us. I think that we have the talent and the size and the speed to be able to compete with them and to be able to compete at this level. So, I mean, I think it's going to come down to whether or not how badly we want it.
Cam, just kind of looking at the season ahead, obviously you have that one more game against U of A, another Division I opponent, but then you jump into that Division II schedule, come here to play ASU, go play NAU. How excited are you to get into this season and build off of what you guys accomplished last year?
Oh, extremely excited. We had a great group of guys last year. We kept a lot of our core guys, but we also brought in a lot of new talent, and they can do a lot, and I'm excited to see how they play in these next few games in this season. I think we can do a lot of damage.
Well, Cam, thank you for your time. Really appreciate you coming in here for the first intermission. Folks, don't go too far. We'll be back with the remainder of the first intermission report here on GCU's YouTube channel. Welcome back live to GCU's YouTube channel. My name is Seth Askelson alongside Jesse Vineyard. And Jesse, a really tough go in that first period, but 40 minutes to turn around. What does GCU need to do?
Have some fight. Please have some fight, GCU, or else this thing is going to start getting away from them pretty quickly. Luckily, I mean, in hindsight, it's only 2-0 right now. One goal can change this game, and it cuts the deficit in half just like that. They need to start going out there making some hits, clean hits, of course, staying out of the penalty box, and start throwing the puck on net. They only had 2 shots in that first period. Throw the puck on net, get bodies to the net, and just keep whacking at the puck and get one of those pucks into the net. If they are able to do that, that will immediately light up the bench, and that will really send a big message to ASU that GCU is not done yet.
Yeah, and I mean, they sent that message last night with the 2 goals in the third that they weren't going away. And like you said, it just needs one spark, and they're ready to go. So that's going to do it here for the first intermission report. Jesse Vineyard, my name is Seth Askelson. You can turn over to the ASU ACHA D1 page to watch the game and then come right on back for the second intermission report. So once again, for Jesse Vineyard, I'm Seth Askelson, signing off.